of my favorite things. All right, so this is gonna be a little. Respect on. I don't want to say this just to make it seem like I'm bragging about what it is that I do, because I don't get nothing out of that shit. So I'm gonna tell you guys from when I worked at Fred Meyer's in Fairbanks, Alaska, right? Despite the fact of the hate crimes and the DV assaults against me, that I tried to tell the store manager, the assistant manager, I got this shit recorded now, HR department, even security, bro, even co-workers. And this lets me know just how many people had the possibility of being involved in what's going on. But that's not what this is about. This is about something of a wish fulfillment. So I'm going to give you incidents that happen at work where people know what I told them and probably lied about it. Okay? Here's the first one. I've told this story, but we're going to tell it again in case it's the first time, right? Because I'm going to shuffle while we're doing this. So one day I was in a dream, and this very, very, very rarely happens. I was at work in my dream. And at that time, I saw the home department manager, whose name was Andre Denail, in my dream. Now, as I saw him in my dream, I heard this sound. Boom, boom, boom. You got to get up and go to work. So I'm up. Boom, 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 boom. Lo and behold, I show up to work that day. Go in the back, put my stuff up. And then the first thing they wanted me to do was go out to the gas station. Why? Because there was people getting shifted around, people quitting, people being fired, and people being abused, so they left type shit. That's neither here nor there. So I got told I had to go out to the gas station. Fine by me. It's just a smaller room than I'm in that I'm getting paid for, right? So I walked past Andre. Yes, the same Andre. He was wearing exactly what he was wearing in my dream. So I go out to the gas station, because once you're in the gas station, you don't go out. There's no bathroom at the gas station. If you ever worked at the gas station, you out there until somebody comes to relieve you if you need to go to the bathroom or it's time for you to, get some nourishment. So I'm standing there looking at the freaking screen, all of a sudden, woo, 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 woo. And I'm looking in the cameras. What is going on? Lo and behold, there was ambulances and fire trucks at Fred Meyer's. Somebody finally came to relieve me to get something to lunch. Did you hear what happened? Of course I didn't hear what's happening. I was in the gas station. How could I hear? So lo and behold, I can't remember who told me, but they already came to look at confirmation. They said Andre had a seizure. What? Yeah, he had a seizure. They took him to the hospital. Now, when that happened, I was telling people, I just saw him in my dream this way. I know how it sounds to people who don't know. But I guarantee you, I got proof of text messages, me telling these to people, right? That's one time. Second time too, one day we just coming to work, like I usually do, doing the best I can with what I got, right? The moment I walked through the back entrance where we had to come in as an employees, the moment I entered the store, all of a sudden, boom, I was having pregnancy symptoms. I know that might sound weird to some people, but not to me. And I'm like, what the is going on? All day, all I could do was smell it, because, when you go to Fred Meyer's, most of them have food that's being cooked on here. I was smelling everything on the other side. And not even though when I went outside, I still could smell food. I was starting to have cravings as if I was pregnant. Lo and behold, it was time for me to clock out and come back here, right? So there was a woman in the back. Her name was Rachel. I can't remember the full conversation, But I remember telling her to be safe and get home. Something to that, like pleasantries. But to me, when I do pleasantries, it's fucking genuine. I literally mean, if I say get home safe, I really want you to get home safe. I'm not just saying the shit, right? So as I walk away, say this is her standing here. So I come out, because there's the doors, right? I come out and leave, and I feel stop. So I stopped. I turned around to Miss Rachel. And lo and behold, I asked her this. Are you pregnant? She looked at me puzzled and confused. Then her eyes dropped, and she said this. I ain't even tell nobody yet. What? So I started to tell her ever since I walked into the door when I came to work today, I kept having pregnancy. Now we work at Fred Meyer's. Of course, there's going to be somebody pregnant. But for it to be the person, the last person that I turned around and looked at, it was the co-worker. And she said, I didn't tell nobody. Huh. Okay. That's her second event. Now let's go for a third event. I was in the back with Chris. He knows who Chris is, right? Because Chris took the new opportunity that was at Fred Meyer's. I wonder if he's still working at Fred Meyer's. Be that as it may. Say this is the big door right here. Right? Say, remember, this is where Miss Rachel was standing. This is where the desk was, where we were at in the back in the home department, right? So you would have to just come this way and go this way, and there'd be a big giant swinging door. Chris was standing right here. I'm right here. As the moment that we pushed the doors open, boom, I fell to the floor. I look up. Chris looks down. He said, what happened to you? I told him I felt like I got shot. And he watched me. He saw me. He saw my reaction. He ain't never tell nobody. We're telling everybody. Because it's low and behold to see that when you sit here try to help people and then they witness what you're doing. I mean, they witness what happened and then they deny it. So again, that comes up to this one. So you deny me in front of man, then I have to deny you in front of my Father. And these people knew. Just like my family knew the things that I was able to do as a child that they denied. People like to show that even the women that I married, they knew, but they denied it. All in hopes to make it seem like I should deny my own gift. That's never gonna fucking happen. And this is just to bring up some things that I could show people. Like I said, I don't do this shit to brag. I don't do this shit for I do this shit for what? To educate people. Why? Because somebody needs to start educating y'all, because shit is getting real up around. And everybody keeps thinking and forgetting we do not rush against flesh and blood. And people just say, I don't know, we don't comprehend it because we can't feel, taste, touch, or see it. That's not the definition of something real. So we'll show people this. Because like I said, I do this so people can understand. What I'm going to show you is exactly what you see in case this is the first time you watching. That's me as a kid in the front with the glasses on. This picture was taken in the 80s. This is not Photoshop. This is not motherfucking CGI. If you want to call it anything, it would be like me being a little kid from the Sixth Sense movie. It would also be like me as Matilda. Some of us have gifts. Everybody gets a gift. But some of us have other gifts. Like Peter Parker's Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. And people decided it was okay to hate me for this shit. That's why they do stuff behind closed doors. People trying to use moon magic and stuff like this. Look, the shit is real. Just like if you think the internet was created by a human being, this is to let people know in this day and age in 2026, if you think a human being created the internet, the World Wide Web, and all the connections of all over the place and all of that, something's wrong with you. If you think a human being created the internet, not Wi-Fi, I mean the internet. If you think a human being came up with the internet and don't think that shit is some other foreign technology, something is wrong with you. Not saying to bash you, I'm just letting you know things like this exist. If things like this exist and the internet, which was not created by a human being, physically exist, you should be able to comprehend the simple fact that there's people here who have certain gifts that were given to them by the living God. So when I told you the 3 stories, I told you it wasn't just 3 that happened at my job. It's not only the 3 that happened home. It's not the only 3 that my family knew. That I'm telling you that you're telling me, and I got confirmation. I could show text messages and shit that day and prove to what? I saw Andre, who was the ex-boss at Fred Meyer's, in my dream. I got up and went to work and he was wearing the same shit he was wearing in my dream, and then he has a seizure. After his seizure, he treated me differently. Totally differently. As for Miss Rachel, what are the odds that when I was ready to go home, because when I'm ready to go home and I clock out, I'm not like, hey, see you tomorrow. This shit. No, why? Because I come home and I got to deal with the shit that's here. So I was ready to head out the door and I heard stop. Ask her. Okay. I turned around, looked at her. Are you pregnant? And then she looks at me. Her gaze gets lower and she said, I haven't even told nobody yet. Meaning she ain't even tell the person that she was about them being pregnant. And then walking next to freaking Chris as we walk through the door and I fall to the ground as like I told him, I just got shot. What else were they doing in the dark? Being ruthless. Who? I mean, the people who got to witness the things that I was doing in front of them. Shoot, even Joseph's brothers tossed him into a pit. This is what they were doing. Co-workers, friends, exes, family members, they all got to witness. They knew. Most of them knew before I knew what the fuck it was. Honest engine. Before I even knew what it was that was happening to me, other people knew. And for some reason, they considered that shit a threat because sure the hell was enough, they wanted this for it. This is why they took the money. To harass me, to bother me, to put obstacles in my life. Understand this and know it well. Did you get your money's worth? Because all it did was make me go harder. So when we say this in all humbleness. People who are going to keep coming after us are not going to like it. Anybody who's lied, betrayed, backstabbed, anything. Look, you can lie to yourself. You can lie to other people. But you're not going to lie to the living God. They're going to come and visit you. I don't give a fuck how it happens. But I know this. If you don't tell the truth, you're going to be this. Here's another freaking example. As you see my finger, as it stops right behind the screen, I'm pointing at. I died right there on the floor. A person comes in the room and watches that shit. He smiles as me choking to death, right? After I finally got to get up, I told the person what happened. I heard God's voice. He said this, he said that. And I told this person, don't lie about it. The next day, this person runs to church. 1111. Doesn't tell nobody. But then makes fun of it. I'm just letting people fucking know. Here's another one. I had a vision, and I drew this picture, and I even got the post for this. I was in a stadium. I was surrounded by people. As I turned around, there was a wall facing me, right? The wall looked like it could move. In the vision, I walk up to the freaking wall. Boom. There's a hole come out of it. I watched something come out of it. As I turned around, the faces of the people that were in with me on the stadium, it changed. And say this is the square in the stadium, right? So I come around, say this is the wall. I come around the corner, there's a flight of stairs leading downward. At the bottom of the stairs, it was clear as day. I saw a brown box, and it looked like it had a Raggedy Ann doll, but the hair wasn't red. Whatever it was, it had different hair, but it was dressed like a Raggedy Ann doll. The doll saw me, jumps in the box. I go to the box to go look for the damn thing. It was gone. I wake up this morning, the following morning, and I got a recording of this shit. Not the dream, what happened afterwards. I wake up, I do my normal thing. All of a sudden, turn on the news. They said that they found a woman who was murdered, buried in a wall. Straight up. Straight up. Shit like that blows my mind. But what gets me is freaking worse, man, is that I can't believe that many people who physically got to witness the things that was allowed to work through me and benefits for these people. And they turned their backs on me. He said this, if the world hates you, know this, it hated me first. And I guarantee you, I could tell you wholeheartedly, there ain't a person on this planet that loves me. But I love me. And that's more than every last other person on this planet. Again, this is not to brag or boast. This is just saying this is how much the activation of you loving yourself and not going through outside validation. Because I try to get people into what? To even help them unlock their gifts. Because everybody's got a gift. Everybody who was born here, sent here, born here, God gave you something on the inside of you that makes you very unique. It just so happens that he gave me a little bit more. And the fact that he gave me a little bit more, meaning I had to suffer that much more. People think they want the gifts that I have, but they're not willing to suffer. And when I say suffer, I guarantee you, I suffer every fucking day. But I can still smile through the suffering. This should let you know that something is different about a person. Because there's people who could not take 5% of my life. They couldn't. They wouldn't be able to handle the responsibilities that I have to go through every single day. And I'm not perfect. I'm just saying the gifts that was given to me comes with a great responsibility. And there's too many immature people who have not checked their childhood issues. They still got childhood issues. As even scripture said, as a child, I thought as a child, right? But when I became a man, I pulled away what? Childish things. There's grown people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s years old still acting like they're 13, 17, and 21. In their mind. It's good to be childlike, but to be childish is a whole nother matter. So these childish people with childish tantrums, with childish insecurities, do childish things because they always say hurt people hurt people. Well, why are they doing what they're doing to me? If it wasn't for the word of God, well, if they hated you, don't worry about it. They hated me. And I'm like, well, shit, you did nothing to nobody. and they beat you, they flogged you, they stabbed you, they spit on you, then they nailed you to a tree, and you totally didn't do nothing wrong to anybody your whole life, and that's what they did to you? Well, yeah, they're going to do it to you too. Fuck. Who's really there to sign up for that? I'm telling you, where's the line? I don't see nobody standing in line with their cross talking about, let's go. Let's take it to the mountain or down by the... You don't see them do it. It's every single day. But they want the privilege of what? Being crucified without being crucified. How are you going to have the benefits of being crucified without being crucified? So when I go through what I go through and I see this, and like he said, if they don't like you, because honest and truly, there ain't nobody who likes or loves me on this planet. We've already tested them. He said, if they hate you, they hated me first. And I'm sitting here looking around with people with friends and families and all of this goody stuff and smiling, not to bash, but how could you go through the fact that they hate you, they hated me first, and they're over here with all of these groups of people having friend circles. Now, look, I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying, where's the proof of you being crucified as you portraying yourself to be crucified as he was crucified? You still got your kids? Okay. You still got some friends? Okay. You still got your animal? Okay. You still got your job? Okay. You still got an income? Okay. I mean, where's the proof? There's too many people, like he said, with their mouths, they're praising me. I love you, God. I worship you, God. And he said this, their hearts are far away from me. Well, I'd rather my heart be close enough to him and keep my mouth fucking shut. Because there's too many people out here saying that they worship the living God, the real living God, but they can't even stand up for the truth. They can't even be honest. They can't even be grateful. How could you say that you even worship or even acknowledge the living God if you can't even do any of these things on a daily basis in some way, shape, or form? And I guarantee you one of them is what? Telling the truth. So when I told you the stories about me being at Fred Meyer's, there you go. 3 different people, 3 different positions. And like I said, I went to the top. To the store manager. Why? Because like I said, there was a hate crime that had at Fred Meyer's. There was an actual DV assault to me at Fred Meyer's. I ain't do nothing to nobody. I went to the top. I went to security. I went to the home department and I recorded everything, these bitch ass motherfuckers. And then they all lied. I showed them the recordings. This is what happened. This is what it is. And they still did what they did. And then you know people had the audacity to try to get me to convince myself that it was my fault without looking at my evidence. People right off the gate automatically assume that I'm lying when they're taking the truth from liars. So again, if they hate you, remember this. They hated me first because nobody was taking Jesus' word when they captured him. No, they was spitting in his face. They were beating him. And some of them, he helped the day before. How many people you think Jesus healed the night before he was crucified? Or captured when Judas kissed him? How many people do you seriously believe that Jesus helped, heal, cast out demons, healed the sick? How many of those people that he helped the day before he was taken was sitting there screaming, crucify him when it came to that point? The answer is enough. He helped enough people that they should have had some sense, but they couldn't. Why? That means because they were taken over by things. So when I'm talking about the home department manager, guess what? He was taken over by a thing. When people lie on me, guess what? They were taken over by a thing. When the ex did what she did, guess what? She was taken over by a thing. I got that shit captured. I watched the entity just like this hop off of 3 people while somebody was stabbed in the goddamn kitchen of this location. And then when I called the cops, because you clearly see that I'm the one who called the cops, I was the responsible one, I got the bleeding to freaking stop, and I called the cops. You know what happened by the end of the night? They kicked open my door as if I'm the one who did the stabbing. And I got proof of that shit. And the only one who was grateful enough that I was there was the person who got stabbed. Why? Because he was about to go meet his maker. I guarantee you something happened to where that man changed, and I saw some forms of change in him after he was bleeding on the floor in this location in the fucking kitchen floor. So when I tell people that the store manager, I brought it up to him, then he sends me a friend request on the internet. Right? I still got the screenshot. Then he takes it off. I assumed, okay, maybe he didn't know it was me. So I sent the shit to his wife. Then I sent it to the home department manager. Then I sent it to security. Then I sent it to the home human resources. And you know what they all did? They all lied to save their own ass, just like everybody else does against me. They all lied to save their ass. And I'm like, here, push play. Just saying, what would have made you do something after you witnessed the things that I've been doing to convince you to lie about who I am, even though you don't even want to accept the fact that I helped you in some way, shape, or form? Because then you get these people who pretend I never helped them. I never gave them good advice. I never looked out for them. I never listened to their problems. I never tried to give them advice. I never tried to cater to them. These people sit here acting like I've never done nothing for them at all, ever. And then have the audacity to call me crazy, call me stupid, call me worthless, call me a bum, call me garbage, call me this and call me that. They call me every other thing but helpful. Kind-hearted, confirmation. They call me everything but helpful. Kind-hearted, sincere, empathetic, courteous, lovable. And these are the same, and they had the audacity to what? Either one or two things happen. When you let this thing enter your body, this evil entity, when it left, did your memory get wiped off? Or do you have selective memory? Just to be honest about it. What happened? Because I remember all of this shit. I don't bring it up to be like, remember when I did this for you? No. I was waiting to see if anybody would return the same thing that I gave them. Not one. And usually this would make a person a very bitter person. But like I said, we all have gifts, right? I was just able to get a little bit more than the next person. Why? Because I had to go through a little bit more than the average person. Not to brag or boast. It's not like I remember the day that I was sent here. I've been oppressed my whole life. And all of a sudden, when I said enough is enough, and then I heard God say enough is enough, and then I heard him say, if you want my help, are you willing to give this up? I said, yes. I died on the floor right behind the screen that I'm pointing at. And then he picked me up, and everything changed. And you think people would be more empathetic to what happened, but no, they can't. Why? Because they have a goddamn fucking demon attached to them. Or how else would I still be here? How else would I still be able to be here? Obviously, they took me for granted. So this is why another reason why I do these things, why I do these classes, why I do these shows and tells, why I show people the things that I've went through. How is it any different than a person going to church on Sunday talking about, I got a testimony? I'm showing you a testimony. If it was not for the living God, I would not be here. Anybody calling me a devil obviously must be the devil, because how can Satan cast out Satan? If I'm the devil and I know you got a devil in you, how can you and me be on the same team? It can't be. Just saying. Think about it. How could a person calling me a devil while being as a devil, and we know you are, how could you say I'm a devil? Because how can Satan cast out Satan? Because if I'm telling the truth, and the truth indeed I'm telling, because I have no reason to lie to anybody about what I'm telling you. Why? Because I know the severe consequences of lying. Especially if you are gifted, you face a more severe judgment than an ignorant person. We do. With great power comes great responsibility, Peter Parker. And again, I'm not perfect. But I tell you this, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not preying on people's downfall or wishing somebody would have a heart attack and die. I'm not putting shit in people's food. I'm not trying to sleep with people's girlfriends. I'm not trying to drug people to fucking rape them. I'm not doing these things. But I'm still not perfect. I got flaws too. Every person in the freaking history of mankind has got a flaw. But to turn around and call me a liar. Now, I know liars. And you know what? If it came with a W-2 form, they would be able to get a job as being a professional liar. Shit, there's things that do give you, what, a paycheck for being a professional liar. But to call me that? No. To call me a neglectful parent? Go fuck yourself. I've been around actual negative freaking people who neglect their kids. I've been around cheaters, murderers, killers, and dope dealers, and fucking prostitutes and druggies. I've been around that shit. So again, like he said, if they hated you, they gonna hate me. 911. 9111. If they hated you, they hate me. And guess what? I've been hated since the day I came out of my mother's vagina. And it started with my wicked family. Ta-da! Guess what? Like I said, my family knew about this. Why? Because what you see back there in the background, as I show you this picture, that you notice that I'm the little kid in the front with the glasses, right? My wicked family was feeding us to things like this. All those other kids, they were being fed. And here it is, 30, 40 years later. Guess what's happening to these kids? Ask them. They followed a false leader. Because again, my family was full of witches and warlocks. And now all of a sudden, that shit has become a fucking fad. Everybody else talking about it. No, I had to live it. There's a difference. I can't mess with people who think just because you read a book doesn't know nothing. This is like having an OCS caseworker who doesn't have kids calling you, trying to tell you how to raise kids. I hate that shit. You don't even have any kids. Because you read a book, you think you can tell me how to freaking do this? If you couldn't be a real father, but you trying to pretend you a father, what are you doing? This is why, another reason why every woman who's had a kid should not have the title of being called mother. Because the word mother means something. These people are just squirting out kids as if they were cattle. Some of them are. Not all of us had wonderful backgrounds and la-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-do-di-do-di-do. And even some of them that did have it, a lot of them got over too. So what would be the factor in the situation? It would have to be, like he said, and I will visit unto you and your children up into the 3rd and 4th generation. What do you mean? I'm showing you what I mean. How many people, is that confirmation? How many people actually have a picture of some shit like this? Like, caught it. And remember, this is from the 80s. That's before the internet was like in every household. I think that might have been almost before like cell phones were like pocket size. So that's the 80s and this is the 40s. Guess what? 4 decades I think is long enough for people to try to get their stuff together and be like, hey, I'm doing this wrong. Hey, I did this wrong. Man, maybe I shouldn't have known that. They still doing it. What's stopping them? One would be pride. And guess what? Things like this feed off of pride. Don't forget the lust, which will get to the greed, which will get other people to be envious. But just know this, ladies and gentlemen, like I show this and I do these things. Why? Because he told me I'm supposed to be doing this shit. And the simple fact that I enjoy talking about things like this, and believe me, people don't like talking about this stuff with me. Why? Because if they like talking about things of the light, they would come into the light so their darkness can be what? Revealed. Once a week is not enough for me. This is why I'm done with people with churches. This is the only time y'all sit here and want to talk about this, and you do it once a week for 1 hour, but you go home and watch a football game that's 3 hours? You make it make sense. Make it make sense, just to be honest, because I know this went off into 2 different parts, but this is like a real freaking struggle of a person who says that they're gifted, chosen, because like I said, I'm not doing this to bash other people, but I'm like, man, you got way too much of a giant social life, not hating on your social life to be like, I'm chosen. No, because what I heard the path is narrow. I heard that it would be easier for a camel to fit through the eye of a needle than what you doing. Confirmation pops on the screen. This is not to bash or to do nothing. I'm just saying, where are the people who say that they believe, who say that they can do this? How come you're not casting out the demons? Because they're running amok. They're running amok. Check this. Did anybody catch this one? Because I know it's all over the internet now. And other people are like bumping off of it. Is it on this one or did we do it on something else? So this guy knocks over this freaking security guard. I guess I don't know the whole thing. So how you see the video, you see a guy who's watching, right? Through a fence. And if you look down and look through the camera, he's pointed the camera at a security guard on the floor, another dude on top of him, dry humping him in broad daylight while he's laying in a pool of blood. Or how about this?
Sexually assaulting a young girl in Castle Rock was sentenced today to 100 years to life behind bars.
Jorge Campos was found guilty back in March for engaging in sexual acts with his girlfriend's daughter between 2021 and 2023. Fox 31's Courtney found
sexually.
We're not seeing no problem? How about this one?
Scammers engaging in fraudulent activity. My ears went up $8 billion. And these scam centers are in Laos, Cambodia, CCP, the Middle East. What is going on? Taxpayer money overseas?
Yeah, let me unpack this for you. So while there's epic levels of fraud going on, an epidemic that President Trump and J.D. Vance is leading the charge on the anti-fraud task force here domestically in the United States with agencies like the FBI and state and local partners, last summer we took the initiative to go overseas and attack the compounds and literally scuttle the centers and cities they were building overseas in the Middle East and elsewhere in Southeast Asia. We've freed thousands of trafficked workers, Kaylee. We've arrested and charged hundreds of individuals for $8 billion, as you said, just overseas. Those individuals were targeting our senior citizens.
Scam centers engaging in...
So check this out. Right out the gate, she said what? Y'all guys heard the amount? She said $9 billion. Where are they spending most of this money on? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. Because I'm gonna tell you two top things, because it's all over this planet. One is to drugs, and two is to mess with little kids. $9 billion so they can get drugs and mess with little kids and see what the fuck is left over. And we as a people on this planet can't do nothing about it. But you telling me we can sit in front of a fucking TV screen and watch a football game that lasts 3 hours? And then you want me to sit there and be happy about that? You want me to be content with that? It's all over everywhere. When are y'all going to be like, hey, we think we got a problem on the whole planet. The whole planet, because y'all keep doing this segregation, isolation, this island. Y'all have no idea that the whole thing belongs to the children of God. And they're coming to a point where what? We are going to assemble. And we're going to try to get this shit back to some form of balance, because this shit is fucked up. So again, if they hate you, they hated me first.